Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about some new DC fast chargers that BC Hydro installed in this past couple weeks here. You can see, actually you can't see yet, but shortly I'll be showing a map and some information regarding making the trip from Prince George to Prince Rupert, which is pretty cool because previously that was not a trip you could really do in a single day with an electric vehicle because the infrastructure really wasn't there. But now it's quite doable, and so if you're interested, follow this video. My name is Mark Vejvoda. This is the Tesla Prince channel. So let's get started. So taking a look here at the map, Google Maps, kind of zoom in a little bit, you can see I starting off at Prince George. It's 729 kilometers. Driving an ICE vehicle, it would be 8 hours and 18 minutes with no stops. And this was not a simple drive. This was through a number of mountain passes and weaving and winding and pretty extreme climates. Everywhere from here on the coast, no snow and just tons of rain, to slush, to all kinds of snow. Especially around Smithers right over here. And between Smithers and Terrace, this was like a sheet of ice. All this roadway was very wet, and at nighttime it would freeze and it was really slippery. And on the way back, this section back to Prince George was very slippery as well. All right, so this is the route that I took. I used to capture these statistics, I use this program called Teslafy. It's a third party, and it hooks up to your Tesla account and tracks all of the driving you do, charging, tells you costs, all that kind of stuff. Really good statistics, and that's why I subscribe to it. And you'll see here, I started off Prince George with almost 100% charge. I drove to Burns Lake, I charged up there. Then I drove to Smithers. I didn't have to stop there, but I stopped there for an hour and used a level 2 slower charger just to get a meal there at Smithers. Then we mosey on over to the Boulder Creek charger. That was the longest charge because this charger is only 25 kilowatt. Very glad it's there because it'd be hard to make this trip otherwise. And that one's from the Ministry of Transportation. Whereas the one in Prince George, Burns Lake, and Prince Rupert, those are all BC Hydro chargers, and they're 50 kilowatt. So after this Boulder Creek charger, then we made that final drive to Prince Rupert. And we'll see all the stats momentarily, but I'll just talk about the charging stations. So I left Prince George, it's where I live, with close to 100%. Then I came here to the Burns Lake charger. You can see my check-ins right over here, kind of there and back. That was Burns Lake. Then Smithers, like I said, that's actually a picture of me. And level 2 charging at the Smithers charger. And then here at the Boulder Creek, again, that's a picture of me. 25 kilowatt, and there's 2 of them. I should mention all the BC Hydro and Ministry of Transportation sites. All the new ones, they have 2 fast speed chargers, which is really good because if someone's already there, chances of there being 2, at least in the north, is pretty slim to be more than 2. So chances are you're going to have the opportunity to charge. So this is the Boulder Creek charger. It's at a rest area. And then the last charger was right here, Prince Rupert. This one's pretty much right on the ocean. You can see the ocean from the charging station, and you can see I checked in right here. Okay. So let's get into some of the statistics. So again, I use Teslafy, and what's really cool is you just set up your account and you kind of just leave it and it collects the data. And for example, to get this journey, all I did was I created a query saying create a road trip, and I did the start date, I did the end date, and it kind of picked out all the driving I did, showed me where I charged, all in this one map. Gives me the summary statistics over here. Total kilometers driven 1473, rated kilometers used. So there's my overall efficiency going there and back was about 68 to 69%. And again, the temperature shows here as the average temperature of around 0 degrees. I had anything from -15 to +5 on the coast where it was really wet. Mostly though, it was below 0, I would say, for most of the drive. And all kinds of stats here about all the different drives. This is what you get when you use Tesla-Fi. And each of the days, I have the breakdown here as well, but let's take a look at the cold hard stats. So the first day I drove from Prince George to Burns Lake, 243 kilometers, that's 151 miles. Started off at 99% charge, and it took 67% to drive that 243 kilometers from Prince George to Burns Lake. And so I used 46.78 kilowatt hours. I drove at about 197 watt hours per kilometer. The driving time was about 2 3/4 hours to do that distance. I drove around 93 kilometers an hour as an average, plus and minus, obviously, going through some small towns. And I charged the battery up to 95% before leaving Burns Lake. So overall, charging and driving time just before leaving Burns Lake, 3 hours, 57 minutes, almost 4 hours. So then the next leg, you can see 144 kilometers from Burns Lake to Smithers, just 90 miles. Left with 95% charge, arrived with 53, so that took 42% to go that distance. All the stats are here. I will link the description here. Bottom line is the most difficult charge was this Boulder Creek, because there I had to charge for 1 hour and 58 minutes, so just about 2 hours. And it's a slow charger. This Boulder Creek is 25 kilowatts, and obviously that's at the best case. So, it was slower than that. So I had to sit there for a while because I had to get enough charge to get the last leg. So I charged up to, what did I put here? Up to 75%, and I arrived in Prince Rupert with 10%. So decent amount of buffer there. I guess that's close, but 10% is good enough. If you start getting low, you can slow down your speed. But all the stats are here. So overall, the amount of time that I drove was 8 hours and 6 minutes to drive 738 kilometers. And average speed was 92 kilometers an hour. And average watt hours per kilometer was around 201. Total kilowatt hours used, 144. And this is wintertime driving. And so the total driving and charging time was 12 and a half hours. You can see of that, 4 hours and 24 minutes. And the drive back went a little bit faster, about an hour faster, as you can see, because I did one less stop, and that one less stop was Smithers, and I stopped there on the way, like I mentioned before, because I wanted to get a meal. So using all DC fast chargers, the whole trip came to about 11 and a half hours total driving and charging time. And if you remember earlier, it was about 8 hours and 15 minutes to use a gasoline vehicle to drive one way. So 3 hours 15 minutes extra of charge time. So here it shows 4 hours of charging. So obviously maybe I drove a little bit faster than what Google Maps said, but I could have done this faster because this last leg, when I charged at Burns Lake, I charged the battery up to 90%, and I didn't need to charge that much because I arrived with, what did I arrive with? I arrived home with 27%. So that's way more buffer than was needed. I could have, not charged an extra, say, 15%, could have shaved that off there, and maybe that would have cut 20 minutes off of this charge time. So could have been close to about 11 hours-ish. And that's wintertime driving. So summertime, you could get maybe some better time there because charging would be faster, your battery wouldn't be as cold, etc. So overall, all the stats are here. It's quite doable. It's going to take you, between 11 to 13 hours one way. Definitely don't want to do that all in one day, driving to Prince Rupert and back. That would be like driving to Vancouver and back in one day. You can do it, but you'd be very tired, and it's quite a lot of driving to do in a single day. But doing it one way, very doable with these fast chargers. As you can see, hopefully these statistics will help you figure out what kind of buffer you require for your car. Car I'm driving is up here, a 2020 Tesla Model 3 all-wheel drive, long range. It has a 75 kilowatt battery, and the rated distance is 513 kilometers under ideal conditions. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the photos. So here you can see the charge rate. This is when I originally left home. I left with like 90 something percent. You can see right there. And this is me leaving town when I left Prince George heading towards Prince Rupert. And this is me at Burns Lake. You can see the charge rate there. Charging up with the charger. And leaving Burns Lake, so I had charged up to about 84%. Now this is me at Smithers at that slow J1772 charger right at downtown. It's actually a decent spot to park. There's lots of restaurants and stuff around. You can see the snow here was a lot deeper than all the other areas, so that was one thing to note. So driving was a lot more sketchy there. Now this is me parked at the Boulder Creek charger. Those are the 25 kilowatt chargers. This is like a rest area. There's bathrooms there, picnic tables, etc. And there is a cell signal, so you can watch Netflix and all that while you're waiting. And I charged up to 74% before leaving. And this is me arriving at Prince Rupert on day one. So it took about 64% to drive that distance. And yeah, so that was cool. This is what the Prince Rupert charger looks like, and obviously you can see the climate here is obviously much more moderate, being on the coast. No snow at all for the last hour of driving at least. Just rainy and cloudy. This was City Hall. They had a beautiful display of lights on the trees, and so that was pretty cool. Looked really beautiful at nighttime. All right, and this is us charged up to 94%, leaving Prince Rupert. And I think this is, actually no, this is cycling back to the beginning. So this was the last picture that I had in my slideshow. Now let's take a look at a few videos, just some short video clips. Give me a second here to find that window. All right, so this particular clip, you'll see here on the left-hand side, an ambulance was in the ditch. And if you take a close look at the road, it's a total sheet of ice. This is what I was driving for that first section when I was driving towards Burns Lake. And you can see right here on the left-hand side, there's an ambulance overturned. This next one, this was interesting. Somebody was passing me, and unfortunately, as they were passing me, some rocks shot up and chipped my windshield. This is what not to do when you're passing someone. So, I wasn't driving very fast because these roads are pure ice. And you'll see here in just a moment, this gentleman comes in his truck and he decides to cut into the lane right away and shoot up rocks. And if you look closely, you'll see little rocks flying up onto my windshield. Boy, that was really awesome. Anyway, moving on to the next video. So just showing people were driving a little bit fast here, and lo and behold, Mr. Policeman up here, I'll just fast forward it. So yes, the police were out in full force. And this was another area on the way to Prince Rupert on that highway between, you can see this water here falling off the cliff above. That was quite a shocker. It's called Car Wash Rock for the people who live in Prince Rupert. Now this is an interesting video. This one, I lost control and veered into that other lane because as I was turning, all the slush made me lose control, but the car jerked back. So it was kind of interesting with the Tesla slip control. Did a really great job. So I really appreciated that. And you can see a truck came by shortly after, so I got lucky there. All right, so this is another shot of, I believe, the Car Wash Rock. This time from the Tesla cams, merged all three. Just try to fast forward it a bit here. Yeah, when you come up to this section, there's these signs warning you to slow down because it is a very narrow section of highway. No, I'm not sure what this one was. Oh, this is just Prince Rupert, sorry. So this is what it looks like driving off the highway into Prince Rupert. Sorry, my mistake. And this one was me leaving Prince Rupert the next day. And you'll see on the right-hand side, I did see a owner of a Tesla Model 3, a white vehicle, which was pretty cool to see. That there's fellow Tesla owners living on the coast. And Prince Rupert's a pretty small community. I asked the lady at one of the stores there, and she said there's like 10,000, maybe 15,000. So you can see that white Model 3 there. That was cool. And here you can see on the way back, driving to Prince George, a few sneaky police officers parking on the side of the highway. I'll try to fast forward this one right here. So anyone coming that direction, bang. So I just wanted to point out, you know, not only is this highway dangerous, but if you do decide to speed, you're going to get caught. So here's another one, and this time right on the other side of the bridge. If you're coming down the highway there, take a look. He's waiting for you. You will get ticketed. So just wanted to point that out. And I did see a number of trucks that had fallen in the ditch. This was one of them. No, I don't think that guy was in the ditch. It was more further on down here. And you'll see here on the left coming up. So this guy, when I left Prince Rupert, let's see, fast forwarded too much, so you'll see him up on the left there. And again, all the slush here from these giant mountains. I stopped to see if he needed some help. He had a tow truck on the way. He was doing just fine. So watch yourselves out on that highway, is what I would say. All right, so for the rest of the video, I'm going to put on the drive to Prince Rupert and back. I'll put some video clips and pictures. If you don't care about any of that stuff, you can stop watching now. I will link all the statistics from the spreadsheet, etc., in the description of the video. Hopefully this helps some of you. If any of you need to make the trip from Prince George to Prince Rupert, all the stats are here. and it's a decent drive now. This is winter time, so this could be close to worst case scenario. It'll be only easier in the summer. And that's it for today. Hope you enjoy. All right, so we've arrived here in Burns Lake. We had about 33%. We are charging, so getting 35 kilowatt currently. We just started. Going to charge up to 100% because we've got a long drive here still heading to Prince Rupert. But yeah, so Prince George to Burns Lake took about just under 70%, maybe 67%. And that's in the end of December, so in the winter, though it wasn't as cold as normal. Right now it's 1 degree out is about -2 to -5 all the way here. Usually it's -20 or something like that by now, but it's been a mild winter. Anyway, we are here at Burns Lake. Highway 16 is right there. There's the Chevron, so right after the Chevron you just turn left and it's right behind us, and we're charging at 2 BC Hydro charging stations. We are here at Morristown. The snow is pretty deep here. Just outside of Smithers. Really deep here. But it's really beautiful. Especially in the winter, it's pretty cool. Alright guys, we are here at Boulder Creek, 25 kilowatt Delta charger. There's a pair of them here. There's a J1772 slower charger over there. That's Highway 16, that ways towards Terrace and Rupert. That ways towards Smithers, Prince George. And we just pulled in here with about, I think it was 30% charge left. We're going to charge up to at least 70%. That should get us to Rupert according to estimates. And there's a few bathrooms there. This is like a truck area, there's garbages. So overall, I mean, it's well lit. I believe there's Wi-Fi here, so you can watch your movies, etc. Overall, not a bad place, but there is nothing around here, so bring food and drink and whatever and sit back and charge up. Alright guys, we're here at the Prince Rupert charger. 2 BC Hydro dual chargers, 50 kilowatt, 50 kilowatt. They both have CCS and CHAdeMO. And we made it here in about 13 hours. That's all charging stops. We did an extra hour stop in Smithers just for fun because it's a cute town. But yeah, I mean, these chargers are fantastic. Without these, this trip would not be possible in 13 hours. So now you know to get from Prince George to Prince Rupert, and that's basically the ocean out there on the other side of this building. You can see out there. But yeah, it's pretty epic. So
That's insane. You're asleep.
Only my eyes.
And my arm.
They're weaklings. Your arm and my eyes.
Mm-hmm. I'll take you home.
Maybe it's love.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows turkey and sour mistletoe helps to make the season right. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know the Santa's on his way. He's loading lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child he's gonna spy. Does the reindeer really know how to fly? And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. They know the Santa's on his way. He's loading lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child he's gonna spy. Does the reindeer really know how to fly? And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to
Bye.